There was a time, not spoken of in any book you have ever read, when towers did not simply stand in the earth. They listened, they remembered, and sometimes when they had been hurt, they closed their eyes and refused to wake. This is the story of one such tower, and the girl who found it on the loneliest night of her life. Her name was Elara, and she lived at the very edge of a village called Briarhollow, in a small stone house, with a roof that leaked when the rain came sideways, and a garden that grew more weeds than flowers. She lived there with her uncle, a quiet and tired man who repaired shoes for the village and rarely looked up from his work. He was not unkind, but he had forgotten how to be warm, and Elara had learned long ago not to ask for warmth that would not come. She was 12 years old. She had brown hair that never stayed braided, and hands that were always busy, always mending something or feeding something or holding something gently that no one else wanted to hold. She once spent an entire afternoon building a tiny bridge out of sticks so that a line of beetles could cross a puddle. She did not tell anyone. That was the kind of girl she was. The paragraph has a poetic, introspective, gently fantastical tone with grounded, melancholic realism. It introduces a mythical concept, sentient towers, then shifts to a personal human story in a humble village setting. Visual shifts occur around narrative beats, the abstract mythic opening, the tower girl introduction, Elara's home environment, her uncle and daily life, and her character acts of kindness. The children in Briarhollow did not dislike her exactly. They simply did not see her. She was too quiet for their games, too odd for their conversations, and too kind in ways they did not understand. When she passed them in the square, they looked through her the way you might look through a window, seeing only what was on the other side. And so Elara carried a question inside her chest. A question she had never spoken out loud, but that ached like a splinter lodged beneath her ribs. Where do I belong? She did not know that the answer was already waiting for her, hidden between the roots of the old world, sealed in moonlight and silence, standing just beyond the last tree of the Thornwood Forest. It began on an evening in late autumn, when the sky turned the color of a bruised plum and the wind smelled of copper and faraway rain. Elara had gone into the thornwood to collect fallen bark for her uncle's workshop. She was not supposed to go that deep into the forest. No one was. The villagers said the thornwood was strange, that paths moved when you were not looking, that the trees sometimes whispered words that almost made sense. But Elara had been going there for years, and the forest had never once frightened her. If anything, it felt like the one place that noticed she was alive. She was crouching beside a mossy log, peeling strips of bark into her basket, when she heard something she had never heard before. It was not a sound, exactly. It was more like the memory of a sound, a low, deep hum that came up through the ground and into the bones of her knees. She stood, she turned, and through a gap in the trees she had never noticed before, she saw it, a tower. It rose out of the earth like a finger pointing at the sky. Pale stone wrapped in ivy so thick it looked like the forest was trying to hold the tower in its arms. The windows were dark. The door at its base was sealed with roots and moss, and something that glittered faintly, like crushed stars pressed into the wood. There were symbols carved into the stone around the doorframe, spiraling patterns that seemed to shift when she tilted her head, as though they were breathing very slowly. Elara stepped closer. The hum grew stronger. It was not frightening, it was sad. It sounded the way her own chest felt on nights when she lay awake and wished someone would call her name and mean it. She reached out and touched the door, and the entire tower sighed. It was the softest sound, like a sleeping child turning over in a dream. The ivy trembled. A single leaf fell from somewhere high above and landed in her palm. It was silver. Not silver like paint or metal, but silver like moonlight had been folded into the shape of a leaf and left there for someone to find. Then a voice spoke. It came from the ground near her feet, small and irritated and slightly muffled. Well, it is about time. Elara looked down. Sitting on a stone beside the tower's base was a bird. It was small, round, and the color of a rainy Tuesday, a sort of bluish grey with a patch of white on its chest, like a dropped handkerchief. It had one eye that was sharp and golden, and another that was permanently half-closed, giving it the look of something that was always mildly unimpressed. "Excuse me," Elara said. "I said, it is about time," the bird repeated. "I have been sitting on this stone for 47 years, and I cannot tell you how numb my legs are," Elara blinked. "You can talk." "Obviously I can talk. What concerns me is whether you can listen, because I have been calling to anyone with half a gentle heart for nearly 5 decades, and you're the first one to actually show up. Do you know how many people have walked past this spot? Hundreds, thousands. A man once leaned against this very tower to eat a sandwich and did not hear a single thing. A sandwich, I ask you? The tower was humming directly into his spine, and he just chewed. Elara knelt down, which she always did when speaking to something smaller than herself. "Who are you?" The bird ruffled its feathers with great dignity. "My name is Pip. I am the Keeper's Witness, the last watcher of the Sleeping Tower, and the only creature in this forest who has not lost his mind from the silence. Although I will admit the last few years have been touch and go." "The Sleeping Tower," Elara repeated softly, looking up at the pale stone. "Is that what this is?" "That is precisely what this is, and it has been asleep for a very long time. Not asleep the way you sleep, with blankets and snoring and the occasional strange dream about falling. The tower sleeps the way sadness sleeps. Everything inside it has stopped. The rooms, the magic, the memories, the doors, all of it sealed and still and waiting. Waiting for what?" Pip tilted his head, and his one sharp eye studied her for a long moment. "Waiting for you, I think. Though I must say I expected someone taller." Elara might have been offended, but she was too curious. She looked at the door again. "Can I open it?" "That depends. Can you be kind even when you're afraid?" "I think so." "Can you be brave even when you're not sure it will matter?" "I have been doing that my whole life." Pip was quiet for a moment. Then he fluttered up to her shoulder with a small grunt of effort and settled there like he had always belonged in that spot. "Then put your hand on the door, not with force, with feeling. The tower does not respond to strength, it responds to sincerity." Elara placed both hands flat against the sealed door. She did not push, she did not pull. She simply stood there and let herself feel what she always felt. The quiet ache, the longing to matter, the stubborn warmth that she carried even when no one asked for it. The symbols around the door began to glow, not brightly, but gently the way a candle looks through a frosted window. The roots that sealed the door trembled, and slowly, one by one, they unwound themselves and retreated into the earth. The moss crumbled, the glittering dust in the wood sparked once and then faded, and the door swung inward without a sound. Beyond it was darkness, but not the frightening kind. It was the darkness of a room that had been closed for a long time and was surprised to feel air again. "Well then," Pip said softly, "the tower is waking. Step 1 is done." Elara stepped inside. The first room of the tower was round and made entirely of the same pale stone as the outside, but here the walls were covered in carved patterns that spiraled from the floor to the ceiling like frozen rivers. In the center of the room stood a stone pedestal, and on the pedestal sat a lantern made of glass so thin it looked like a soap bubble. Inside the lantern something glowed faintly, a small light the color of warm honey, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. "That is the first flame," Pip whispered. "It is the tower's heartbeat. When it went to sleep, the flame nearly died. But look, it remembers." Elara reached toward it, and the moment her fingers touched the glass, the light inside flared brighter. The walls around her trembled, and the carved patterns began to move, spiraling slowly, awakening. Dust fell from the ceiling in golden streams. A staircase appeared along the wall, curving upward into shadow. It had not been there a moment before. "The tower makes its rooms as you go," Pip explained. "It shows you what you are ready to see. That is the first rule of this place. You cannot force a room open. You can only become ready for it." They climbed. The staircase curved around the inside of the tower, like the inside of a seashell. And with every step Elara took, small lights flickered to life along the walls. embedded in the stone like trapped fireflies. The tower was waking, slowly, cautiously, the way a wild animal lifts its head when it hears a kind voice. The second room was smaller and filled with floating objects. Books hung suspended in the air, their pages frozen mid-turn. A teacup hovered near the window, still half full of something that shimmered like liquid silver. A pair of spectacles drifted near the ceiling, spinning slowly. Everything was covered in a fine dust that sparkled when Elara breathed on it. "Someone lived here?" she said. "Someone did," Pip agreed, "a long time ago, before the tower closed its eyes." Elara gently touched one of the floating books, and it drifted down into her hands like a tired bird landing on a branch. The pages were blank except for one line, written in ink that still looked wet. It read, "She will come with a gentle hand and a stubborn heart, and the tower will remember what it was." A chill ran down Elara's arms, but it was not a chill of fear. It was the feeling of being recognized by something very old. "Pip, who wrote this?" But before Pip could answer, the room went cold. The floating objects trembled, the lights in the walls flickered and dimmed. And from somewhere above them in the tower, a voice drifted down like smoke. "You should not be here, child." It was a woman's voice, soft and musical, and layered with something Elara could not name. It was the kind of voice that sounded like a lullaby and a warning at the same time. Pip's feathers bristled. "Oh no," he muttered. "She is awake too." "Who is she?" Elara whispered. "Her name is Seraphine, and she is the reason the tower fell asleep in the first place." The air above the staircase shimmered, and a figure appeared. She was tall and slender, dressed in robes that seemed to be made of twilight itself, deep violet fading to silver at the edges. Her hair was long and white, not the white of age, but the white of frost on a midnight window. Her face was beautiful in the way that a winter storm is beautiful, striking and remote and impossible to look away from. And her eyes were the color of the tower's stone, pale and carved and watchful. The paragraph describes a fantasy scene with supernatural elements in an ancient tower setting. It features emotional build-up, environmental changes, dialogue, and the dramatic appearance of a mystical female figure named Seraphine. The tone is eerie, wondrous, and grounded in a mythical yet believable atmosphere. No overt cartoon exaggeration, no glowing magical effects beyond what's described, shimmering air, twilight robes. "I said," Seraphine repeated, descending the staircase with steps that made no sound. "You should not be here." Elara did not run. She held the book against her chest and looked up at the woman. "The tower, let me in." "The tower is confused. It has been asleep for a long time, and it does not know what it is doing. It let you in because you knocked, and it was too tired to refuse." "That is not true," Pip said sharply from Elara's shoulder. "The tower chose her. You know the rules, Seraphine. The door only opens for, I know the rules better than you, little bird. I wrote half of them." Seraphine stopped at the bottom of the second room's staircase and looked at Elara with an expression that might have been pity or might have been contempt. "You are a child from a forgotten village with dirt on your sleeves and bark in your basket. The tower is ancient, vast and full of magic that would break your mind if you saw it all at once. Go home, forget you found this place. Some doors are not meant to be opened by small hands." And there it was, the voice Elara had heard all her life in different forms. "You are too small, you are too quiet, you do not matter enough for this." But she had touched the tower's door and felt it sigh. She had held the first flame and felt it grow brighter. She had read a line in a book that knew her heart before she spoke a word. "I do not think I will go," she said quietly, "but thank you for the suggestion." Pip made a small, choked sound that might have been a laugh. Seraphine's expression did not change, but something shifted behind her pale eyes. "Very well," she said, "but understand this. The tower has rules, and I am one of them. I am the warden of the upper rooms. Nothing above this floor opens without my permission, and I do not give it freely." She turned and walked back up the staircase, and with each step she took, the stairs behind her vanished, leaving only smooth, blank stone. The way up was gone. "Well," Pip said after a long silence, "that went about as well as I expected." Elara sat down on the floor of the second room and let out a breath. The floating objects had settled down, the books and the teacup and the spectacles all drifting slowly back to their places, though they seemed to hover a little closer to her now, as though they wanted company. "Pip, tell me the truth. What is this tower? Why was it sleeping?" Pip hopped from her shoulder to the stone pedestal where a small clock floated, its hands frozen at midnight. He pecked at it gently, and it began to tick again, very slowly. The tower was built a long time ago by a woman named Aveline. She was a keeper, a guardian of magic, not the loud, flashy kind of magic, the quiet kind, the magic of memories and belonging and the feeling you get when someone truly sees you. She stored all of it here, in these rooms, every act of kindness, every moment of connection, every gentle truth that the world tried to forget. The tower was alive because she loved it, and it loved her back. What happened to her? Seraphine happened. Seraphine was Aveline's apprentice. She was brilliant, powerful, and endlessly jealous. Aveline had offered Seraphine everything, taught her everything, given her a place in the tower and a role in its keeping. But Seraphine did not want a role. She wanted to be the tower itself. She wanted its magic to answer only to her. She wanted to be the one it loved. Pip's voice grew quieter. So one night, Seraphine tried to take the tower's heart, the first flame, and bind it to herself. But the tower knew. It felt the difference between someone who wanted to protect it and someone who wanted to possess it, and it did the only thing it could to survive. It went to sleep. It sealed its rooms, silenced its magic, locked its memories away, and waited for someone who would come not to take, but to care. And Aveline? Aveline poured the last of her magic into the tower's walls to keep it safe. She became part of the tower itself, her voice, her warmth, her memory. She is the reason the stones still hum. She is the reason the door still opens for a gentle hand. Elara looked down at the book in her lap. She will come with a gentle hand and a stubborn heart. She wrote this. Aveline wrote this. She wrote many things, in many rooms if you can reach them. Elara looked at the blank wall where the staircase had been. Seraphine took the stairs away. She did, but remember the rule, the tower makes its rooms as you go. It shows you what you are ready to see. The staircase Seraphine uses is hers. It answers to her because she has been here so long that parts of the tower have grown used to her, the way a garden grows around a stone that has sat in the soil for too long. But the tower can make other ways, if you ask. Elara stood. She walked to the blank wall and put her hand against it. "Please," she whispered, "I would like to keep going. I'm not trying to take anything, I just want to see." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the stone beneath her fingers grew warm. A crack of golden light appeared, tracing the shape of a small door, much smaller than the one at the base of the tower. It was barely tall enough for her to crawl through. A bit undignified, Pip observed, but functional. Elara got on her hands and knees and crawled through, and Pip hopped along behind her, grumbling about the dust. The room beyond was unlike anything she had ever seen. It was a garden, inside the tower. The walls were there. She could see them rising around her, but they were covered in living things. Vines with flowers that glowed soft blue, moss that shimmered like velvet, tiny white mushrooms that gave off a scent like warm bread and honey. And in the center of the room, an enormous tree grew straight up through the floor, its branches pressing against the ceiling, its bark covered in the same spiraling symbols as the rest of the tower. But this tree was not like the trees outside. Its leaves were made of light, thin, translucent, and gently glowing, casting soft moving patterns across every surface. "The memory garden," Pip breathed. "I did not think she would show you this so soon." "The tower showed me this, Aveline's garden. This is where she kept the most precious memories. The ones people had lost or thrown away or never knew they had. Every leaf on that tree is a memory someone forgot. Every flower is a kindness someone did without knowing it mattered." Elara walked to the tree and looked up into its canopy of light. She could see shapes moving inside the leaves, faint images like dreams pressed flat. She reached up and touched one very gently, and a scene unfolded.